5 riding mowers, also called lawn tractors, that will cost you more after the purchase than at the register, and 5 that justify the sticker price. This isn't a brand ranking. 2 mowers from the same manufacturer can land on opposite ends of this list because at the model level, what matters is the specific transmission, the specific deck, and the specific track record owners actually report. Avoid. Number 1. The Troy-Bilt Pony 42. This is one of the most consistently complained about riding mowers on the market, and the complaints aren't scattered. Owners report broken drive belts as a recurring failure, along with transaxle and pulley problems that show up well before the mower has earned its keep. Some owners say local repair shops decline to even work on it, which tells you something about how the trade views the machine's parts and design. At a price point built to undercut the rest of the riding mower category, the Pony 42 undercuts its own lifespan along with it. Avoid number 2, the Cub Cadet XT1. The XT1's hydrostatic transmission is its most consistent failure point, with owners reporting complete transmission failure in the 40 to 50-hour range, well inside what should be a mower's break-in period, not its wear-out period. The unit at fault is typically a tough torque K46 transaxle, a light-duty design that shows up across several budget and mid-range mowers, and one that's become well known in the repair trade for hitting its ceiling early under regular residential use. One owner's transmission failed at 41 hours, 3 years into ownership, and getting Cub Cadet's corporate service line to acknowledge the issue took repeated escalation. Multiple owners separately report the same failure, which rules out a one-off defect. Compounding the problem, Cub Cadet's warranty terms have been reported as non-transferable to second owners in practice, so buying one used strips away the safety net that might otherwise offset the transmission risk. This isn't isolated to the XT1 either. Owners of Cub Cadet's RZT50 Zero-Turn report the same hydrostatic transmission wearing out around the 250 to 300 hour mark, with replacement running $700 to $900 per side, and both transmissions often failing close together. One dealer told an owner he'd taken in 3 other trade-ins with the identical failure. When a transmission problem shows up across multiple models in the same lineup, that's not bad luck. That's a design pattern. For context, a commercial-grade hydrostatic unit is typically rated for 1,500 to 2,000 hours or more. A residential transaxle like the K46 failing at 200 to 500 hours isn't early wear. It's the unit operating at or near its designed ceiling. Avoid number 3, the Ariens Ikon 60 Zero-Turn. At close to $4,700, this is priced like a professional-grade machine. And the one-piece welded chassis and 23 horsepower Kawasaki V-twin back that up on paper. Real-world owner ratings tell a different story. A 3.8-star average at Lowe's and 3.9 at Ace Hardware, both well below what a machine at this price should earn. The recurring complaints are frequently wrecked drive belts and blades that won't stay engaged, both classic wear part failures that shouldn't be showing up this early on a machine built to a commercial adjacent spec sheet. Avoid number 4, the ProRun 42 gas riding mower. Sold as a lower-cost entry into tractor-style riding mowers, the ProRun 42 draws complaints that go beyond normal wear and tear. Buyers report battery stability problems, difficulty starting, plastic body panels where they expected metal, and a mower deck thin enough to bend under normal use. One buyer had the steering wheel come off during use. This is a machine where the corners cut to hit its price point are visible within the first season of ownership, not the 5th. Avoid number 5, budget Poulan Pro riding tractors. Poulan Pro built its reputation on affordable outdoor equipment, but that affordability shows up in the build. Thin materials, weak wheels, and height adjustment systems that owners describe as fragile under regular use. These mowers can handle light, occasional mowing, but homeowners with anything beyond a small, well-kept lawn report the components wearing out faster than the cost savings justify. Before you rule any riding mower in or out, a handful of checks matter more than the brand name on the hood. Start with the transmission type. Hydrostatic transmissions are more expensive to replace than gear drive systems, so ask specifically how the model you're considering has performed on that part, not just how the brand performs in general, and ask the dealer directly whether they've seen transmission claims on that model before you buy. If the spec sheet doesn't name the transaxle manufacturer, Hydro Gear and Tough Torque are the two most common suppliers. Look it up before you commit, because those brand names carry their own reliability track records across multiple mower lines. Check the deck next. A thicker steel deck resists bending and scalping over years of use, while thinner stamped decks show wear faster. What you're looking for specifically is 10-gauge or 12-gauge steel. Anything in that range is genuinely heavy-duty. Anything listed as a stamped deck without a gauge number is worth probing further. You can usually tell the difference by knocking on it. A welded deck sounds and feels solid. A bolted stamped deck flexes under light pressure. Look at the engine tier, not just the horsepower number. Manufacturers often put the same displacement engine in both a residential grade and a commercial or professional series version. And the professional series version is typically built with heavier internal components rated for more hours before a rebuild. The major engine brands to know here are Briggs & Stratton's Professional Series, Kawasaki's Commercial V-Twin lineup, Kohler's Command & Courage Series, and Honda's GX line. Each of these has a consumer grade and a professional grade tier, and the gap between them in service life is significant. If the listing doesn't specify which tier the engine is, ask. If you're buying used, get the hour meter reading and weigh it against what you now know about that model's typical failure point. A Cub Cadet XT1 with 40 hours on the clock is entering exactly the range where transmission failures start showing up in owner reports, regardless of how clean the mower looks. Also confirm in writing whether the remaining warranty transfers to you as a second owner, since several brands on the avoid list have been reported denying claims specifically because the buyer wasn't the original owner. Finally, before you sign anything, ask about parts serviceability directly. Can a local independent shop actually get parts for this model? Or does everything route through the manufacturer? A 5-minute question at the counter can save you a 3-month wait later. That's the avoid list. Now, the 5 that actually earn their price. First up, the John Deere S140. Consumer Reports 2024 member survey data rates John Deere's reliability scores among the best in the lawn tractor category, and the S140 in particular draws a consistent theme across owner reviews. It starts easily and keeps running smoothly well past the point where budget competitors start needing repairs. It runs a 22 horsepower V-twin engine with a hydrostatic transmission and a 48-inch deck, and long-term owner reports describe replacing little beyond blades over years of regular use. It isn't the cheapest lawn tractor on the market. It's one of the few where owners aren't also budgeting for a transmission repair in year 3. Next, Kubota's lawn tractor lineup. In Consumer Reports' latest member survey data, Kubota is the only brand that scored the highest in both predicted reliability and owner satisfaction for lawn tractors, ahead of every other brand tested, including John Deere. Kubota built its reputation on farm and construction equipment going back to the 1950s, and that engineering standard carries over into its residential mowers. The gap isn't just a survey artifact either. Progressive Farmers 2022 Reader Study, which surveyed more than 2,200 farmers, found Kubota owners reporting fewer problems per unit than John Deere owners on the same class of equipment. John Deere still has the wider dealer network, and some owners who've run both brands say that doesn't always translate to better service, since Kubota owners report needing that service less often to begin with. If your yard is large enough to justify a serious tractor, Kubota is the brand where reliability isn't a marketing claim. It's a documented survey result 2 years running. Then there's the Snapper 360Z. This zero-turn runs a 23, to 25 horsepower Briggs & Stratton Professional Series engine paired with a 12-gauge welded steel deck and frame built to resist the chassis flex that causes uneven cuts on lighter machines. Owners consistently point to the engine as the standout, a professional series build that's meant to run for years under regular residential use without the wear issues that show up on cheaper zero-turns. It isn't the most feature-loaded zero-turn on the market, but the fundamentals, engine, deck, frame, are built past the point where they become the weak link. The Toro Time Cutter earns its spot for a different reason. What sets it apart isn't just the mower, it's what happens when the mower needs a part. Toro maintains one of the deepest independent dealer and parts networks of any mainstream mower brand, and that network becomes the deciding factor around year 6, when a machine's first real repair typically comes due. The Time Cutter itself earns strong marks in Consumer Reports' zero-turn testing for cutting evenness and mulching performance, and the models in the lineup pair those results with Hydrogear hydrostatic drive units, a commercial-leaning transaxle that shows up far less often in failure reports than the light-duty alternatives. Pair that baseline reliability with a nationwide service network that already knows the machine, and you've got a mower you can actually get fixed without shipping it across the country. Rounding out the list, Husqvarna's residential zero-turn line. Husqvarna Zero-Turns carry real engineering pedigree, and owners who've run them for 7 to 10 years without a major issue are common in ownership reports, not the exception. Husqvarna's warranty terms also run longer than most competitors, stretching up to 4 years depending on the model. The one caveat worth knowing before you buy: some dealers have reported slower parts turnaround in recent years compared to the fast availability Husqvarna used to be known for. The machine itself remains a strong buy. Just confirm your local dealer's current parts lead time before you're relying on it. The same checks from the avoid list still apply here, just working in your favor this time. And a few more are worth adding once you're looking at models that already clear the basic bar. A hydrostatic transmission is only a good sign if the specific model has years of owner reports behind it, not just a brand reputation. So ask the dealer how long they've carried that model and whether they see it come back for transmission work. When a mower is specified with a Hydrogear EZT or a comparable commercial grade unit rather than a basic residential transaxle, that's worth noting. Those units are typically built to handle the hour ranges where light-duty alternatives start failing. A welded steel deck at 10 gauge or 12 gauge is worth paying extra for, since it's the single part most responsible for a mower still cutting evenly in year 8, and it's worth asking the dealer for the actual gauge number rather than trusting heavy duty on the spec sheet. Take the mower for an actual test drive if the dealer allows it, not just a walk around. Listen for whining from the transmission under load. Check how the deck engages and disengages, and pay attention to how the machine handles on a slope if there's one on the lot, since tire tread and wheelbase matter more for hillside stability than most spec sheets let on. Ask about the engine tier the same way you would on the avoid side. A professional series Briggs & Stratton, Kawasaki, Kohler Command, or Honda GX engine, even at the same horsepower rating as a consumer-grade version, is typically built with a longer service life in mind, and that difference is usually reflected honestly in the price gap between two mowers that otherwise look similar on paper, and weigh the dealer network as seriously as the machine itself. A strong, independent dealer within a reasonable drive is worth more than an extra feature on the spec sheet, because it determines whether your 5th-year repair takes 3 days or 3 months. Ask directly what the current parts lead time looks like for the model you're buying, not what it used to be, since that number can shift year to year, even for reliable brands. 10 mowers, 1 pattern. The failures cluster around the same 2 or 3 parts: hydrostatic transmissions, drive belts, and cutting decks. And the mowers worth buying are simply the ones where the manufacturer didn't cut corners on those specific parts to hit a lower price tag. Check the transmission type and who made the transaxle. Check the deck gauge, and check what owners are saying about that part after year 3, not year 1. That's the difference between a mower you own and a mower that owns you.